Okay, so I want to talk about this book. It's about Hannibal. Hannibal Barca, that's Barca, from Carthage. So just for some context first, before I get into what the book is, Hannibal is he was a Roman, or he was alive during the Roman period, and he was against Rome. He was basically the first main force to drive like against Rome. His goal was to destroy the war making ability of Rome, and he was from Africa, where Libya is today, from a place called Carthage, and Carthage was actually it owned the I forget the name of the sea, the Mediterranean Sea. They controlled the Mediterranean Sea before Rome did because they had better boats. Rome actually gained control of the sea once they got a design of Carthage's boats by one washing up on their beaches, and uh, and they took it apart and then built new one themselves. And then then Hannibal's dad actually he was trying to do what Hannibal did at first, but he wasn't successful. And he started the Punic Wars, but he wasn't successful in like making it to Rome. He was basically just defending from Rome, and he tried to engage with Rome, but his people were the ancestors of the Jews and the Christians, so they believed in fate and God and God's hand. So they said when they lost the Mediterranean Sea that it was God's decision, and it wasn't Rome. So they didn't want Hannibal's dad to do anything. But anyway, I forgot where I was. But anyway, Carthage they were the top of Africa, and then Spain, they were all of Spain. So basically all of Western Europe, and then all the way up into parts of Europe, and then they stopped at, I forget what sea it is. I want to say the Rhona or something like that, or not the sea, but river, and they uh, uh, they controlled it there. And then Hannibal, he was about 1820 something when his dad died, and he went over to Spain with his brother-in-law, and started making the new Carthage, this new city that they were building. And then he started taking over the territories around it because Rome said just don't cross this river. So he wasn't crossing the river; he was just going all around that area, telling people if you're not on our side, well, you were probably going to end up fighting you. So this one territory was scared of that, and they said, "Rome, we want your help." So Rome came across the river, and they helped. And even though Rome agreed that was their barrier, no one was going to cross the river back and forth. And then Hannibal started attacking the city that they said they were going to protect, and they didn't protect it. And then uh, Rome goes to Carthage and asks. They say they want Hannibal to come over as a prisoner, and so he says no, or so they say no, we're not going to give him to you as a prisoner. And then they say, well, Rome says, do you want war? The Carthage officers, they go over to the room together, like 8 of them, and they go and talk for a second, and they come back and they say, you pick. And so the Roman guy goes back and he picks war. But anyway, so that's Hannibal. Hannibal was the one that from that period on, at the end of that story I just told, Hannibal takes over and is the driving force against Rome, and it's like a great rebellious story. Sorry, I just spilled something, but it's a great rebellious story, and it's amazing. And then this book, it's the one by Harold Lamb. Harold Lamb's Hannibal is actually a really, really amazing version. A lot of people look at Hannibal like a monster. They look at him from the Roman view as an invader coming in to take over their lifestyle and destroy their way of life. But in reality, what he was a liberator. He didn't want to destroy Rome. He wanted to destroy their ability to make war. And he never went to Rome to destroy. He never wanted to fight the Romans directly in their hometown because his dad told him never to be a friend to Rome. And he knew that if he made it to Rome, he would have supporters there. And he didn't want to be a friend to Rome. He wanted to allow Italy to get under Rome's thumb. That was his goal. That was who Hannibal was. He was trying to help the Mediterranean rebel against their the Roman war machine that was about to take over, because it was the Roman Republic at the time, not the Roman Empire. That was right before they turned into the Roman Empire. They actually took Hannibal's war techniques and used them to make themselves better. Because at the time, they used to just walk in a line, shoulder to shoulder, with their shields locked, so that there was no penetration, and then just their swords or their spears. And Hannibal, what he did is he would take half his army and he would stand at the front of his army and run into the fucking battle. And then he would have his brother or another general, hide in the bushes or in a ditch or hide in a little mountain pass. And then he would have them come in later. And I think personally that was because he wanted to protect his family and his people. And also another thing about Hannibal, he brought so many people together. He came from Africa, but he brought the Spaniards together. He brought the Europeans together. He brought the Celtics together. He brought Romans that deserted the Roman Empire were coming to him to come fight against Rome. He had people from all over the known world at the time fighting for him because they believed in him against Rome. And Rome thought all of those people at that time were barbarians. They thought of all of them as uncivilized, like disgusting. Even Hannibal's people thought of most of those people as uncivilized barbarians. But Hannibal went and made them into a real force because he believed in them and they believed in him, and he just wanted to destroy Rome's ability to make war, and they just wanted to not be Roman. So yeah. Anyway, Harold Lamb's Hannibal, a good version of it. Most of them look at him like a monster. This one shows you his perspective, why he did things. Most people tell you Hannibal started the war. Rome started it by crossing the river. That's fact. He attacked the city that was on his side of the river. He was completely allowed to do that. That's not Rome said we're not going to do anything on that side. So anyway, just saying this is a very truthful account, more realistic, and nowadays people write about it and they're talking about him, and from the Western perspective, even in Europe before, they used to talk about him like this. This is like, in this book, they talk about it like, Hannibal, we learn about him in school, and but no, we don't. We don't learn about him in school anymore. But in this book, it acts like it's just something we should be knowing about. And I've heard about him on TV like 2 or 3 times. You've probably heard it too, and not even known what it was. But I've heard about it on TV, and they say it like we're just supposed to know. Like it was on the TV show Community. Like everybody's just supposed to know who Hannibal is. Like you should, you really should, but we don't. We don't learn that in school. So anyway, just wanted to get that out. This is a good book. Hannibal's a great person in history. Look it up. All right, peace. Before Jesus too. I think more of a candidate for Christian Christ, and he was a ascendant of he was a Jewish Christian person.